Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Today's my topic is memory trauma and reconciliation, exploring communal conflict in Mahesh Dattani's final solution. There is academic information, table of content, and let's begin with the introduction. Very briefly, Mahesh Dattani, first Indian English playwright to win Sahitya Academic Award 1998 and explore gender, class, sexuality, communalism in urban middle class settings. Final solutions set against partition, trauma, and contemporary riots. Focuses on a Hindu family plus Muslim outsiders. Themes: communal prejudice, memory, reconciliation, and a significance landmark in Indian English theatre confront communal disharmony directly, mixes realism with symbolic devices. Research question is: how does Mahesh Dattani's final solution represent the impact of communal memory and intergenerational trauma on individual identities, and in what ways does it envision reconciliation and communal harmony? Hypothesis is Mahesh Dattani's final solutions demonstrate that communal memory and intergenerational trauma significantly shape present attitudes and identities, but through dialogues, empathy, and reflective engagement, the play suggests that reconciliation and communal harmony are possible. So, first is communal memory, and very first is what is the definition of communal memory? So, shared remembrance of historical traumas, for example, partition, riots, shaping collective identity and present attitudes. In literature's link past violence with current conflicts. So, in the Dattani's portrayal, uses Daksha and Hardika's diary as a narrative device, and bridges partition 1947 with contemporary riots, shows how communal prejudice is sustained across generations through memory and storytelling. Memory function as both a burden and a mirror. And this is the generational conflict, Daksha versus Smita. So Daksha and Hardika, like older generation, scared by partition, carries mistrust of Muslims. While the Smita, younger generation, challenges inherited prejudice, represents hope for reconciliation. Conflict illustrate how memory is constant between generations. Then intergenerational trauma. So how historical violence impacts present identities in final solution. So Dattani stages partition trauma as a living presence in the household. Older generation like a Daksha and Hardika carries deep scares of partition marked by betrayal, violence, and suspicions of Muslims, and her identity is defined by memory of loss and prejudice, which influences her daughter Aruna's overview. There is the younger generation like a Smita resist inherited trauma. So Smita's identity is shaped by her exposed to both her mother's prejudice and her friendship with Muslim peers. So we know that Smita have Muslim friends, Javed and Bobby. She concedes inherited hatred, showing how new generation can reinterpret trauma and seek reconciliation. Then reconciliation and hope. So first is instances for forgiveness and dialogue. So Smita and Javed and Bobby interactions, they engage in open conversation despite communal tension, highlighting empathy over prejudice. So Smita is coming from the younger generation, like Smita, Javed, and Bobby. They have no any kind of fear and trauma and this. But Aruna's willingness to shelter Muslim friends represent a practical act of forgiveness and solidarity, challenging inherited biases. This Aruna have some kind of fear and bias or prejudice, we can say, with the Muslim friends. That is how she not give the shelter to Muslim friends. Family reflections on partition through Daksha's diary prompts characters to confront past traumas, allowing them to question prejudice rather than blindly follow them. Then Dattani's vision for communal harmony. So Dattani's does not portray communal harmony as a naive idealism. It is earned through moral courage, dialogue, and ethical reflection. The play highlights that historical trauma cannot be erased, but it can be mediated through understanding. Character who confront their biases. Example, like a Smita. paved the way for reconciliation. The narrative emphasizes that younger generation have the potential to break cycle of haters. We can find in the play like a younger generation like Smita and Javed and Bobby. So communal harmony is shown as a dynamic, relational, and ongoing, not a static achievement. Then relevance for contemporary society. So dialogue and empathy are crucial for conflict resolution, and understanding historical memory allows societies to address intergenerational trauma. Younger generations can challenge inherited prejudice and promote social cohesion. Dattani's work encourages active engagement with history and memory as a pathway to reconciliation rather than avoidance. Then innovative stage techniques and final solutions. So dialogue is realistic and layered wise, reveal intergenerational conflict and communal prejudice, externalize internal struggle and engage with audience empathy. And then flashback, we know that Daksha Hardika's diary enact partition trauma and connecting past and present, helps the audience understand how historical violence shapes identities. And then overlapping timelines, past and present events juxtaposed to show uh, uh, persistent trauma, highlight influence of memory across generation. And then we have realism. Domestic middle class setting portrays everyday communal tensions, combines realism with symbolic devices for social impact. And significance, techniques emphasize memory, trauma, and reconciliation, making the audience reflect morally and socially. We can find in the play like how chorus is also play a crucial role in the play. So now I conclude my presentation here. So Mahesh Dattani's final solution demonstrate how communal memory and intergenerational trauma shapes individual and collective identities by using innovative stage techniques and play links past and present conflicts while exposing the persistence of prejudice. At the same time, it emphasized the power of dialogue, empathy, and reconciliation in overcoming divisions. Its themes remain deeply relevant in contemporary society as well, highlighting theater's role as a space for remembering, healing, and envisioning communal harmony. So these are the references, and thank you so much. If you have any question, then feel free to ask.
So, Bhumi, my question is, how are ordinary people affected by communal tensions?
Ordinary people affected by communal tension, because they are not involved directly involved in politics, but they have the communal experience of a fear and mistrust and pressure to take a side of this communal atmosphere. And we can take the example of like Ramanik and Hardika as well, that how they both are grappling with their own biases and internal conflict in the play.
My question is, why is final solution relevant to contemporary society?
Final solution relevant in contemporary society because in the final solution we can find the religious conflict and how the discrimination shows by the time. So we can relevant with because the religious conflict and the discrimination still exists in our society, like many of the caste like a Muslim and many other caste have their own areas and in society. And another is we have to we are not had to past. It's make maybe it's make the problematic, but we have to learn from the past to learn to we can have to learn from the past. It makes people to live in peace. So yes, a final solution is still relevant in contemporary society. That is from my side. Thank you so much.